Welcome to Eye on the Money, the television show that gives you insights into how to improve your financial well-being as well as make your money work for you. I'm Ingrid Nantege. Now in today's episode, we look at how to raise capital for your business. It's widely accepted that a vibrant and expanding small business sector can be a major catalyst of inclusive growth, but more often than not, small and medium-sized enterprises have a difficult time accessing the financial services that can fuel that growth. In Kenya, traditional bank financing is often not available and private equity markets are relatively underdeveloped. Joining me in studio to discuss the different ways in which one can access and raise capital for small and medium businesses is personal finance expert and founder of Upscale Consulting, Stephanie Nguku. You're very welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, Ingrid, for having me.
I'm very, very happy to talk about this.
Thank you, and I'm also looking forward to sharing lots of information on this very integral aspect of business growth. My name is Stephanie Nguku. I am the founder and principal partner for Upscale Consulting,
Right.
a financial consulting firm which focuses on supporting entrepreneurs in harnessing their business ideas towards investor readiness
Right.
and accessing capital.
Right.
We are able to do this through our strategic partnerships with financial providers, providing different financial solutions. And so what we do with entrepreneurs is that we get to understand where you are at in your business journey, and purposely work with you in identifying your business needs or your capital needs, and typically hand-holding you through that process to enable you to grab that capital that you need to scale your business.
Stephanie, with that wonderful introduction, I have no doubt in my mind you're the perfect person that should be sitting in that chair here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So when we talk about raising capital for small businesses, what exactly is the problem? Where does the difficulty come in when it comes to small and medium enterprises, small businesses trying to access capital to improve or even grow their businesses?
For sure, there's a challenge when it comes to raising capital for SMEs, and that this became even more difficult with the introduction of the interest cap, sometimes in September 2016 by the regulator central bank. But hope is not lost. There are still many opportunities and ways of raising capital. Most of the challenges that SMEs will face in raising capital, first and foremost, is a lack of information. There is lack of information on the kind of capital providers and solutions out there. We are used to the common conventional kinds of raising fund, mostly the banks, the microfinance, and others, but there are many other ways that actually one can be able to raise funding for their businesses. And this goes a long way in also identifying what really is your business need. If you are looking to buy an asset, if you're looking for working capital, if you're looking to expand, if you're looking for, because all those different types of capital attract different sources.
Yes.
Sometimes the wrong doors are also knocked, and that becomes also a challenge. So if you knock the wrong door, you get the wrong, you find it's not the right solution.
Right.
Yeah, so basically lack of information is a big challenge. And that is actually why Upscale was founded, to create that platform, that awareness of where the funding is. Secondly, there is an issue of the stringent lending criteria. They're kind of cast to stone when it comes to raising capital. You find most financial providers, they have their thresholds which should be followed when you are raising capital, and in most cases you find SMEs may not meet one of those. So because of that, they fall out and they are not able to access. So that again becomes there is no flexibility to some extent. Right. So like if you have to provide a collateral, you can only qualify to this much. I mean, that's it. There is no way about arguing around that. So that becomes a challenge. The other issue is a lack of sources of income. Right. If I do not have income, or I cannot demonstrate that I really have income which can support the kind of funding I'm looking for, then I cannot get the capital that I'm looking for. So that again also becomes a challenge for SMEs, because you find I mean, business is an up and down kind of experience. So you will find that there are times that your business is up, other times it's down, and it's kind of that financials are looking at a case whereby, I mean, there's a sustainability in how the business is being run, which can be able to support, you know, if a funding is granted, they can be able to repay, you know, whatever facility is granted. The other issue being, of course, the collateral issue, the lack of collateral. You find most SMEs, and especially at the micro level, you've just started your business, or it's still running in low capacity. So you're at a level whereby you have not been able to acquire assets in form of a logbook, in form of a title, and these are the kind of collaterals in most cases which are required. So because you don't have that, that becomes again a challenge for you to be able to grab that. Then the value of you know, the value of capital, I mean the cost of capital, sorry, becomes also another challenge, because you find sometimes, especially now with the banks having like taken a back seat in this issue, because SMEs are regarded as sort of high risk. Yeah,
that's true.
And because of that, they kind of right now they're having to look for alternatives. So you find some of those alternatives are pretty expensive in terms of interest. A case whereby maybe your business makes a margin of 10%, and the capital that you are looking for is 20%. So you find that at some point you are running your business and you realize that I'm not making money. So you wonder what is really happening with my business. But so what you are actually making, it is going towards repaying. So the cost of capital again becomes kind of cripples, you know, the business in its growth and its profitability, and other charges which will come with valuation or charging, you know, and the title and all that. You know, at that point you have to cater for this cost even long before you get the money.
Yes.
So, and I don't have the money to be able to do that as an SME. So I'm like, I cannot be able to go ahead with this. So those costs, and when you add them up, at the end of it also becomes very expensive, because you have your other operational costs, and all, you have to cater for all those at the same time. Then other issues around poor credit history. Credit, in terms of credit history, and that is a place that you people are, the metropole.
Yes. That's our expertise.
Yeah, commonly referred to as CRB. But you find that there are cases that people have found themselves on that CRB, well, not because they really wanted to, and especially in these tough economic times, I have met people who have, you know, found themselves there because business is also not doing well. And it is how CRB is known, you know, out there, or to most financial institutions. If you're called there, the first thing is it's a character issue before you even get to understand what really happened there. So again, that becomes also a challenge. We have people who have not been able to access funding because even of help, you see. And if I left university and I was not able to pay that loan because I never found a job, you know, you kind of feel victimized because of that. So that again becomes a challenge, and really it's a genuine reason.
Right.
I have not had a job. I have just started my business, you know, I'm just trying to find my way. So that also becomes a challenge. Then the government regulations also, like we saw with the case of the interest cap, that also can affect, you know, we saw how things changed, you know, after the interest cap. The banks took a back seat. They're looking for also, they are also entrepreneurs.
Of course.
So they're looking for also alternatives where they feel low risk, where they can invest, and, you know, so also those regulations also will affect, you know, the entrepreneurs to that extent.
Now, Stephanie,
with
all those myriad of challenges, and we all know the role SMEs play in the economy. I mean, they employ a huge chunk. If you read some of the figures, we'll say even up to 90%. So with all those challenges coming into play, what kind of impact does this have on the performance of the SMEs in the country? Like, how does this affect them?
Well, of course, there's a great impact to the SME, because they are not able to operate optimally the way they should, because that is one, because if I need capital to be able to increase my production, you know, if I need capital maybe to employ an extra, you know, resource in my business, if I need capital for some equipment, which is very critical in my process, that becomes, that means that I'm really not operating as optimally as I should. And what that does is that my revenues, of course, are going to take a dip. And even as my revenues take a dip, my profits as well. And if my profits are also low, that is affecting my income.
Right, it's a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, it's a trickle-down effect. So for even that will affect my personal, you know, financing aspect as much as it affects the business. So my level of, you know, my standards of living also is affected because I am straining. So that becomes one of the aspects in terms of there is no optimal production for the SME, affects their standard of living for the SME and for the people who are dependent on that SME. This SME has a family. They have also employees that they are supporting who are working. You know, in most cases, and as we have seen it is happening, especially in the private sector, we are seeing a lot of SMEs or the private sector letting employees go because they are not able to pay them. So it is really a trickling effect. And of course, overall, the economic development of the country is affected because there is not equitable distribution of income, because SMEs actually play a very critical role in the economic development of the country in terms of production, creating employment, and also facilitating the equitable distribution of the income. So it will affect all those in that the country is not growing the way it should grow. And also the people in that country operating there are also affected, you know. So there are so many things, also the growth of the GDP and so many other factors.
So basically the effect does not even just affect just one person.
No.
There's a much bigger general picture.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I'm going to take a very quick break, but we're going to come back and continue this discussion right in like 1 minute.
Thank you.
So as usual, you can always be a part of the conversation by sending your feedback and comments to our social media handles at Metropole TV KE on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll be right back.